Welcome.
Welcome back. We got our Care Bear here, Tyler.
I'm going for a new look. I'm gonna try out what it's like to be a furry for this episode.
It's called being inclusive. I think
It
it's
is.
somewhat important,
And that's
right?
what we're all about.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So, trying to think about what we're actually gonna do for the show this week. It's kind of just like a bunch of little stuff. Nothing really crazy going on. Um, funny enough, another show, friend of the show, Dan Bongino, had his FBI director Cash Patel on his show. We got a little clip of that. I found out that the quality of this clip is terrible, but forgive me. Uh, nothing we can really do. I'm just gonna. It's really just for the sound that I care about this, not really for the actual video itself. So yeah, we're gonna just I don't know see what these idiots have to say.
It's gonna be a live react for me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this.
Really isn't hard when you focus them on the bad guys.
Well,
Oh, you're
it's
gonna
not
be so
hard, Dan,
messed
as you
up.
know, as an 1811 and a former police officer. It's not hard to do the job you signed up for if you're allowed to do the job you signed up for. And President Trump and this administration backs law enforcement and gave us the resources at this FBI and gave us the autonomy in you and I in running this building to remove the red tape, to remove the unnecessary approvals, and to get 1,000 extra agents. That's what we did, Dan. We put 1,000 agents into the field from Washington, D.C. We permanently removed them from the National Capital Region and sent them across to every single field office. And what did that do? It allowed people to hit the streets and investigate crimes, and it led to this. And I know you've seen this, but this is 1 year in the making of true historic reductions in crime. And you're talking about a 20% reduction in murder rate. You're talking about a 32% increase in fentanyl seizures, enough to kill 150 million Americans. Dan, you're talking about 4 top 10 arrests in 1 year, but as soon as you left, I had to add 2 more. So now we're up to 6. You know, I couldn't let it stand at 4. So in 1 calendar year, we arrested 6 of the FBI's
I
most
wanted that
wanted
one
fugitives in the
bad.
world.
You know what I'm talking about. I was busting my ass on that one, but I was like, So, but hey, good job. Once I saw it on the news, I was proud of you and the guys.
No, you laid it, and you gotta let it know those 6 go to you. You laid the groundwork for it. You work quietly behind the scenes. I'm just telling you. And look, I think the audience should know. I can't even memorize these. I look at these every day, and it's just hard to believe. 490% increase in those who prey upon our children. 490% increase.
You guys aren't doing anything about it.
He sounds like a frat. He sounds like a frat boy.
Yeah, 490% increase in preying on children. Can you believe that, guys?
In arrest by the FBI. The FBI under the last
What a
year,
loser.
twice as many increase for violent crime from 24 to 25. Twice as many arrests. That's unbelievable,
prosecuted
Dan.
for
These
the
numbers
Epstein
are
files.
truly historic, and that was the foundational tectonic shift you and I put into place in the FBI to let the cops go out.
Do you remember when Cash Patel, before he was chosen as FBI director, he said, if I were the FBI director, on day 1, I would shut down the FBI headquarters and make it into a museum? You remember that?
Pull it up.
Pull it up.
Pull it
I
up.
have to do some slight digging for this, but these two are
There's
just
probably
like
a clip on
rambling on and
YouTube or something.
like,
But
idiots. You guys are acting like you've done so much. I mean, good for you. If I wouldn't attribute the 20% drop in murder rate to them. I don't think they can claim that. That's not because of them. I don't think that's because of like in the case of a federal crime, like you could say, "Oh, federal crimes have decreased by X amount." I don't think you can just say that murders went down, like murders have gone down thanks to this FBI. It's like the FBI investigates crime. It's not necessarily, there to stop murders from happening.
they're not a first responding law enforcement. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of at the police level. If law enforcement has gotten, I think it's gotten tougher for law enforcement, local law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go.
Trump says, hey, Kash Patel is going to be my
Oh my gosh, this.
guy to lead the FBI. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but I'm glad it did. So here's a little snippet of who Kash Patel is.
The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big. And the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops.
That sounds wonderful to me.
Well, Hoover Building is still open, everybody. I just think it's funny, like, he says, oh, we're doing so much at the FBI, we're doing so much, and then he has all these time to go on these different podcasts and just chat with his friends. He went on, I don't know if you know who Katie Miller is. She's Chief of Staff Stephen Miller's wife, and she does this podcast, and she has a bunch of famous people on. She had Kash Patel and his girlfriend on there just to talk about nonsense. It's like, buddy, you got all this time.
the
to just go
$40
on these
million
podcasts.
flight he took to go see her dance or something. What
Yeah,
was it?
See her perform in Nashville
Or
or something.
$40 million FBI jet.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's just stupid. Maybe I'm just getting. Am I getting worked up over stupid stuff, or like, I just want people to be held accountable. You can't avoid the elephant in the room. It's not possible. No matter how much you say, oh, we're doing such a great job of the FBI, we're arresting criminals, we're doing this, that. I think that's good if true, but you cannot ignore the elephant in the room here.
Let me find it. I just saw a post from Trump today talking about how the Dow is doing again.
The Dow's at 50,000. Okay, forget about all the pedophiles running our country. The Dow's at 50,000. You don't need to worry about that anymore. Okay? Everything's good. Housing prices are going up. If you own a house, that's good for you. If you don't, well, the Dow's up. Your retirement's up if you have a retirement. I think it's only like 40% of Americans are actually invested into the stock market. But, the Dow's up. The Dow's up. You can't afford to buy groceries.
We're good.
The Dow's up. What do you mean?
No, we're good. Yeah, we're all set.
Yeah, I think it's just
administration.
It's like I feel like maybe I say this every week. People are gonna say, "Oh, you sound like a liberal." Or, "Are you going to the left? Are you going to the left?" I think this administration is going to the left. We're pulling ICE out of Minnesota. We're going soft on deportations. We're all about mass deportations when it started. Now we really haven't seen any mass deportations. We're just gonna say, oh yeah, we're pulling out of Minnesota.
No, and all this
Tim
does
Walz
is just
doesn't want
prove
us
that.
there.
No, all this does is just prove when people don't want ICE in their city, just riot.
Yeah,
And
it
then they'll
literally
leave.
is showing the administration that
We are
rioting
defenseless.
works. Yeah, you can't do anything.
Weak and defenseless.
I'm not moving to the left at all. Like this administration.
No, probably
is just
farther
completely-
right, if anything.
Yeah,
But not the current right, like the
I think no, I know what you mean.
constitutionalist, libertarian.
I think it's an important
Christian.
conversation about what the right actually is. Like, what does being on the right actually mean? To me,
I mean, nowadays, I think people construe being on the right as just ultra MAGA.
Yeah, ultra MAGA, just Republican GOP. But I think it's like you said, constitutionalists, someone who's
Christian,
pro liberty,
constitutionalist, libertarian.
Yeah, I mean, typically I would say Christian. I guess if you're not Christian, you
Yeah.
still can be what I would consider right wing. But to me, it's like
The popular
the two commonly
value.
go together. And that's just because of the moral aspect of what I believe in. I
Society.
think there is good and there is evil. And I think letting men go into women's bathrooms is evil. I think allowing people to prey on children is evil. And somehow we're at the point where both parties are okay with people preying on children and not doing a damn thing about it. And I don't think you could say, oh, that the Democrats want this, blah, blah, blah. What does it mean?
I feel like, in a way, this is one of the few things that a lot of the public is coming together on. It's really just the administration, the government, Democrat, Republican, right, left. It's those people who aren't doing anything about it. But I would say the majority of the public also wants, like, I don't know anyone personally that is like, like what's happened has happened, just let it go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this past week, the Department of Justice, I think specifically Pam Bondi, she released a list of everyone associated with the Epstein files, right? And that list included anybody, Elvis Presley, um, Thomas Massey was in there because he's been.
I saw, yeah,
It's
I saw
everything
that.
associated. So anyone who has ever run for Congress that happened to be in a search or something that has been working.
News article,
It's not
election.
it's not a list of everyone who is implicated by it. It's just everyone that's in them at all. And whether they're in them because like there's so many random documents just of like Google searches. You know?
Yep.
So people that were not even alive at the time that Epstein was doing all these things and his co-conspirators were doing all these things are in there. Like this list means nothing. And Pam Bondi said, I think she came out and said, she just said in a memo that the DOJ has released the rest of the Epstein files. Although they actually didn't. I know that some influencers hopped on this. Like Alex Jones hopped right on that and says, "Oh, the DOJ released the rest of the Epstein files." It's like, no, they didn't. Did you actually look into this at all?
Did you see? I was like a 30-minute window or something where everything was public and unredacted that we haven't seen yet.
If somebody had a computer powerful enough to, you know,
I don't know if it
block
was
all that
true.
stuff.
I saw something about it, so
I
not
haven't
verified,
seen,
but
I haven't seen anything about that, but it's a possibility. I think the mishandling of this, just anything could happen. But the rest of the files have not been released, and I know that there's stuff in there that we probably don't want to see, and that's fine. That's fine. But
doesn't mean we shouldn't have the right to see it.
Yeah, like I don't want to see kids getting tortured, you know, but I want people to be prosecuted if they're implicated in committing crimes in these videos. It's that simple. I don't need to see it to believe that it happened. I'm pretty positive that some messed up stuff happened. Actually, what's his name? Prince Andrew just got arrested.
Yeah. Saw that. What's stopping the DOJ from saying like, okay, everything that's out there is all we have? Who's gonna verify or dispute that?
Nobody.
Or like when the day comes that they say, okay, everything's out there.
Yeah.
How much are they still keeping?
I don't know, man. Well, like, what's in the 2.5 million?
we said we weren't gonna bring up Epstein today.
I know we said we wouldn't, but there's definitely more stuff to talk about. But it's all about just like the Department of Justice, FBI, blah blah blah, whatever. You know, it is what it is. We can't really do anything about it at this point. I think people have kind of searched to the extent of what they can, what's in there now, what's been released, and we're kind of just like waiting. I think we should just we can't forget about it and keep putting the pressure on. But it's like
I think it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Pam Bondi should resign. Honestly, so we watched some clips of her last week. Her testimony to Congress was terrible. Was terrible. Left to right, objectively, it was bad. All she did was try to waste time and not answer questions. I mean, if you're on the right, if you're on the left, like, at some point you gotta, swallow your pride and say, yeah, she's not doing a good job, even though you may have liked the appointment of her when Trump first got into office. And I had high hopes, right? She did that, that funny gag where she gave that fake Epstein files binder to a bunch of right-wing influencers. Okay? Like, there was nothing new in there. All that stuff was already public info. And then whatever. I think we should get on to something else. I'm just gonna get so fired up, which is which is fine. I'm fine with getting fired up. That's like, how does change actually happen? So another big development: military assets are mobilizing to the Middle East, both from overseas bases and from the United States. I follow a bunch of open source intel accounts on Twitter, and I'll show this one post. I think this one's pretty relevant. 20 United States Air Force tankers airborne, all en route to U.S. bases in Europe to the Middle East. People ask me if this deployment was bigger than June 2025. Yes, it is. I've been tracking planes since 2022, and I've never seen such significant airlift. But who knows? Maybe it's just for negotiations. Imagine they're just flying planes in the Iranian airspace just to be like, yeah, like don't do anything. Honestly, that would be I would.
Oh, you remember when
prefer that.
Putin came to visit and they flew a couple fighters in a what was it, a B-2
Yeah, yeah.
right over him?
Crazy. That's the ultimate power move, right?
Yeah, no, it is. That was pretty sweet.
But that's like
This is, I mean, tankers aren't as big of a power move. That seems more like a
it seems like
action.
you are having tankers because there's also something about fighter jets. I don't know if I reposted that. What is this? Oh, and then Axios reported that the United States is moving closer to major war with Iran. What was it? The Gerald Ford moved into
Oh, yeah. Second.
the Mediterranean Sea, and Trump was basically like, "Well, it's there if we need it. If the negotiations go south."
And didn't he say like, and if they do, we will need it or something like that? I thought he said like, and if they go south, we'll need it.
Should we look it up on the White House page?
Yeah, see if it's there.
They're always reposting his Truth Social. Blah blah blah. Gosh, so much stuff. Where's this? Oh yeah, he's campaigning in Georgia for an APAC candidate. Typical. So typical. Yay, USA Hockey. Oh my god, man. There's so much nonsense on this page. Peaceful and prosperous Gaza. Let's go. Horde of peace, baby.
His job is done.
Yep, his job's done. I don't know. I feel like they usually post it.
I'll see if I can find it.
Whatever. What did I say? There's stuff about fighter jet movements as well. There were a bunch of F-22s that were in transit over the Atlantic, and I guess some of them had to turn back because one of the fuel tankers had some electrical issues. But there is fighter jet mobilization as well, from all the intel that I've seen. So it's not just like it's not random. It's obviously preparing for something in the event that these negotiations go south. And the craziest thing that we're hearing again, it's the same exact narrative. We can't let Iran proliferate nuclear weapons. Like, this, okay, but I thought last summer you decimated their nuclear capabilities during the 12-day war, you call it. That it was over. Like, it's done. They'll never be able to rebuild. They'll never be able to bring back their nuclear capabilities or their capability to enrich uranium. And it goes from, oh, they can't have nuclear weapons to now, oh, they can't have intercontinental ballistic missiles at all. I've said this before. It's just moving the goalposts. They can't do anything. Netanyahu goes to the White House 10 billion times within Trump's first year and says, oh, he's been saying since 1995 Iran's 2 months away from having a nuclear weapon. It's like, okay, we just dropped. How many bunker busters did we just drop on their enrichment facilities? I thought those were supposed to do the job. Now.
Or they were never 2 months away in the first place.
Ah, yes. Now you're getting it.
The light bulb.
Yes. What was it? JD just went on. Actually, I want to watch the clip of JD. He just went on Fox News and was talking about this. Oh, it's 10 minutes long. I just want to see like a clip of him on Fox. Oh, do we really want to watch a 10-minute clip? Well, let's just start watching it and see if I can skip ahead if need be.
So welcome back, everybody. We are honored to have the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, with us in studio today, and there's a lot to talk about. So thank you very much, first of all, Mr. Vice
J.D.
President,
Teal.
for coming. I
Great to
think
be here.
it's great to have you, and I do want to get to as much as we can with you, so I'll jump right in, if I may. And I want to start with Iran, because we're watching this back and forth in Geneva, and it's happening as, I think we can put up on the screen, the impressive presence, military presence that we have in the whole area. I think it reminds people a lot of what we saw off the coast of Venezuela when there was this question about whether or not we were about to take military action. It looks very much like that. You've got Iran today halting traffic in the Strait of Hormuz for a few hours. We heard the Ayatollah say, you know, well, one of your nice warships might end up at the bottom of the sea. Where's this going?
Well, I'm obviously not going to make any announcements today. I think the president has a lot of options. We do have a very powerful military. The president's shown a willingness to use it. He also has a remarkable diplomatic team. He's shown a willingness to use that too. And so what the president has been very clear with the Iranians, and actually I just talked to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner this morning about some of their negotiations, is the United States has certain red lines. Our primary interest here is we don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon.
What? Oh. This is exactly where we were. Oh, how many months ago is it now? 9 months ago? 8 months ago? I guess it was 8 months ago. This is exactly where we were. We don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And even at the time, there wasn't evidence that they were pursuing that. And they have said politically that they weren't pursuing that. And then, what if a lot of the isolationists claim would happen after we bombed their nuclear facilities? That maybe they would now try to pursue building one because nobody would mess with them anymore. It's the same old story. They're just feeding you slop. Stop watching this garbage. Like, it's just garbage. It's just not.
This is why you tune into Operation Alpha.
Yeah.
We don't spew this stuff.
We don't want nuclear proliferation. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, there are a lot of other regimes, some friendly, some not so friendly, who would get nuclear weapons after them. That would be a disaster for the American people, because then you have these crazy regimes all over the world with the most dangerous weapons in the world. And that's one of the things the president has said he's going to prevent. Now, we would very much like, as the president has said, to resolve this through a conversation and a diplomatic negotiation, but the president has all options on the table. And, you know, one thing about the negotiation I will say this morning is, you know, in some ways it went well. They agreed to meet afterwards, but in other ways it was very clear that the president has set some red lines that the Iranians are not yet willing to actually acknowledge and work through. So we're going to keep on working it, but of course the president reserves the ability to say when he thinks that diplomacy has reached its natural end. We hope we don't get to that point, but if we do, that'll be the president's call.
Well, the president said on Friday that the best thing that could happen would be regime change in Iran. And we know that that's what the Crown Prince in exile wants to see as well. He's saying, don't do an Obama in this situation. Don't make some kind of deal where we release $6 billion from Qatar and let...
Whoa. Trump, okay. This might, I don't know, I might get called a liberal here, which... I'm just going to state the facts. The money that was released to Iran during the Obama administration was actually Iran's own money that the United States took from them during the Iranian Revolution in 1979. It wasn't like Obama just gave them a bunch of cash that was taxpayer dollars. You know, he gave them
I didn't know that.
Their own money that we took from them during their revolution. Like, that's the common trope. And I think, honestly, maybe I've said this before, I don't think the JCPOA, the Iranian nuke deal under Obama, was a bad deal. I mean, if we still had that deal, we wouldn't be dealing with this. The only reason that Iran was pursuing further enrichment was because the United States left the deal, and it was still within the confines of the deal that they could enrich to a higher percentage. If the United States was still in the deal, and Trump didn't just say, oh, Obama's deal was bad, I want to make my own, we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. Like, you want regime change? You think that's going to be better? I think the regime change would be good if it wasn't pursued by the U.S. military, and you create more people that hate us. So how many civilians are you going to end up killing? You know, and then those people and the families of the people who got killed are going to end up in government and they're going to hate the United States. That's what you create and radicalize more people. We don't need to be over there. You don't need to send 20-year-olds to die for this. Don't listen to Mark Levin. He says the isolationists and the Jew haters want to send. They hate our country. They don't want to They don't want to die for Iran. Okay, Baldy. How about you go? How about you go and die for Israel? Actually, because that's who it's actually for. That's who Iran poses a threat to. Israel has to be the ultimate power in the Middle East, and if it's not them, the only country that has nuclear weapons and they can do virtually whatever they want, then they're scared. I don't know. I don't think Iran would just completely nuke
what's
them.
What's the long-term goal here? Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
Like, you think you can just stop this keep doing this? It's not Iraq. This isn't like an undeveloped nation. Okay? Iran has ballistic missiles. Iran has semi-advanced drone capabilities. They have somewhat of an air force. They have old US technology. But I don't want to act like I'm advocating for Iran here, right? Because I think the regime is ultimately bad for the people that live there. I just don't think that the U.S. intervening is going to be the best solution. But can Iran not have any red lines? Israel flying their planes in Iranian airspace day after day, is that not a red line? So if Israel does that, and that provokes Iran to strike back at Israel and fly their planes, and then that drags the U.S. into war. That's not how it should be. Like, why do we have to help a country that has, a couple hundred nuclear weapons and some of the most advanced military technology on the planet? We have to just help them. They can't help themselves. This is not our problem. Don't let anybody convince you that this is our problem. The lobbyists win.
I mean, that's the problem. Is the current administration is trying to convince us that it is our problem.
Yeah, I think the one caveat I have here is that if this is a quick in and out like the last time, it might be all right. I still think that's a terrible thing to do. I think that has long-term ramifications. But boots on the ground would be the worst thing.
I don't know why we're trying to. It seems like we're trying so hard to enter another war.
Yeah, why do we want to do this? I thought this was the peace administration.
It is. Gaza's at peace.
Like, why can't we enter another nuclear deal with Iran? Because they don't want them to have any capabilities whatsoever. They want them to just... And the reason why they don't want to disarm is because of Israel. Because Israel knows that Iran has a somewhat fighting chance against them now. And if they completely disarm and have no ballistic missile capabilities, non-nuclear, I might add, that Israel will completely walk all over them. They're not going to do that. They're not. Why would they voluntarily do that? They're just going to, wait. I mean, Mossad already goes into their country and just goes into rooms with drones strapped with bombs. It blows up people, blows up family members of alleged members of the regime. Like, they're targeting regime members, and even if their families are in there, like, oh well. But when Iran strikes back, the terrorists are at it again. Again, not claiming that they're good people. I would never make that claim. I don't think that that regime is beneficial for the people of Iran. But I think two things can be true here. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I agree completely. Yeah, I just don't see why we feel the need to get so involved in everyone else's business. Especially, I mean, we've gone over this before, especially, where do we benefit in all of this? Like, we as in the United States of America.
Yeah.
If you have to look at it and weigh the pros and the cons of it. And sure, like, you could make an argument for some pros like you can absolutely make the argument that Iran having nuclear weapons is not a good thing. Okay,
I think any country having them honestly is not a good thing.
any country.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
but,
I agree.
but look at the pros and cons, and what are we gaining? And it sounds selfish here, but the point of relationships with other nations is that you have some sort of mutualist benefit. And why are we so concerned about uh hardly I'll say hardly developed country relative to us when there's countries like Russia and China who have God knows how many nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm. Well, Russia has more than we do.
Right. And then why is Iran so important to us? And I think what you have to look at is, okay, well, it's not that they're really important to us, but who are they important to?
Yeah. I think it's just like a global power struggle. And what does the United States think is going to happen? There's all this talk about, well, we can't let Iran align with China. It's like, what do you think's going to happen when you go in there and bomb them? You think that Russia and China aren't going to come to their aid at all? I know that Russia's always making naval movements around the globe, but they've been moving their ships
Sort of
off
a
the coast of
enemy
Iran.
of my enemy is my friend thing.
Yeah. I mean, Iran supplies both those nations with a ton of oil.
It's going to get to the point where we're going to make way too many enemies, and all of those enemies are going to find some common ground. Common ground being they don't like us. And then what?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened, I think, over the past
Like
20 years.
a one-on-one war against any country in the world, I would argue that the U.S. would come out on top.
Hmm. But when you create multiple enemies that can band together,
Right. Like you get Russia, China together. I mean, just pure numbers.
hmm yeah, I don't think that would. I mean, maybe it would still be. I don't entirely know the capabilities of the U.S. military, but I think that would be a tough one. I don't think to think that we would just automatically come out on top. We lost the freaking Vietnamese. We didn't beat anyone in the Middle East. All the terrorist regimes that we toppled in the Middle East ended up coming back in one form or another. Like as soon as remember when the Taliban basically kicked, like when under Biden when he ordered that the soldiers leave Kabul. The Taliban immediately took over, and it was like they were never gone. You know?
Was that when we left a bunch of weapons behind?
Yeah.
Or was that different?
It was like
Was it?
It was billions and billions of dollars worth of weapons.
Yeah.
And there were just like videos of them running around the street, like shooting in the air, driving Humvees and MRAPs, and that was like it was like when we left. What was it? Saigon, when there were people on the helicopters leaving there, and there were people on the C-17s when they were leaving Kabul. It was just like falling off of the airplane. It was crazy. It's like, do we not think?
Yeah, they were hanging on to like the landing gear.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a comment. I don't know how long ago it was. I haven't been paying attention to the comments.
Oh, this was I got context for this. This was back when I was saying everything with the Epstein stuff is going to get worse.
Oh.
And I meant worse as in the public's going to keep pushing for prosecutions and releases. And this person said, let's hope it gets worse. Genuinely convinced we have no power. Which, yeah, I mean, at this point, what indication do you have that the public has any power at all? If I would say the majority of the country agrees that these people are terrible and nothing's happening with it.
I think that's what they want you to like. They want you to think that you have no power, so you don't do anything. I think that's the name of the game, really. If they can make you feel powerless, then you're just not going to do anything.
Maybe we should protest. It worked in Minnesota.
I think that, I mean, like I've said before, the right is the only group that is capable of doing a successful protest because they're the only ones that really have guns, right? Liberals would never be able to successfully make change against the government.
We don't condone violent protests.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I would never
rebelling against the tyrannical government.
I know the government wouldn't hesitate to just kill me because if I was carrying or whatever, you know. Like those people at the 2A protests that have that are open carrying. I'm like, that's bold. That's bold. Not I totally agree with the sentiment there, but like, man.
Yeah, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
That's like the Rittenhouse stuff that happened.
Oh yeah, the Rittenhouse stuff was crazy. What else? Oh, so I don't know if anybody's heard about the new campaign in Britain. It's called the
Ooh.
Restore Britain Party. So it just got put together last week, I think. One of the MPs, Rupert Lowe, is the leader, and his plan is to put pick and select a bunch of people to run in the general elections in the next election cycle for Britain, because they want to restore what Britain actually is. I don't know. Do you think we should play it?
We should watch. Yeah, I think we should watch a good amount of this. Maybe show like the introduction, and then we can fast forward to the meat of it.
Yeah. Let's see. The context here is that this has been going absolutely insane on Twitter. Maybe that's like an unrealistic outlook of how things are actually going, but it definitely says something. I can see why this is a popular movement. All right. Let's watch some of this.
I have chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship. This is the England I know, and this is the England that I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations, in what you leave behind to those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election.
Should I
This
get to, like,
process
what he-
has already started.
Yeah.
Able to speak English.
Oh, here we go. This is where it starts to get good.
What now has to be done. The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained and then deported.
You know, I just want to pause here. I don't know why I feel this way, but this guy saying it, I feel like he actually really means it, and that he's got a plan for it. You know, like when Trump says, "Yeah, we're gonna deport, mass deportations. You got to get them out. Can't stay here." That's like, you know, Trump talk, kind of hyped up. This is like concise, serious, to the point. Like, get out. You're gone.
Yep.
The message will be unrelenting. If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate, commits crime, or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave.
What are your thoughts on that? I think for Britain that's a good thing. That's a great thing. But is that a question of like, oh, if you don't speak the national language of the country and you refuse to integrate and learn the national language? Well, he's talking specifically about the social programs, right? So if you're refusing to integrate, refusing to, you know, learn the language, and you're receiving all these social benefits, like,
oh, I know. I'd say,
because that's far
Well, it's
more.
hard to
That's
think about
far
it.
more, I'd say, right wing than any policy that the GOP has proposed.
It's hard to look at it in a light that isn't the U.S. because considering how diverse the U.S. is, I don't know if that would be doable here.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, think
I
of it
think
this way, right? Do you think if so now that English is the national language of the United States, right? And you could argue whether or not that's how it should be, but do you think that we should cater? So the English is the majority spoken language. Do you think that we should
Yep.
cater to the minority spoken languages in the country when it comes to government documents or anything of the sort? Or should there be some sort of a requirement to
I think
assimilate?
I think you should have to. Yeah, no, I think there should be some sort of requirement to assimilate.
Okay, at least if you're receiving these social benefits, right? I think that's honestly completely fair.
Well, look at it this way. I mean, why are we
Well, what-
required to take a foreign language in school?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we live in the U.S. and we speak English.
What about
I mean, if we're required to learn a foreign language, if you want to live in this country,
but yeah, that's
I think
the
it's
thing,
totally
right?
fair that you're required to learn English.
If you come here, I mean, I guess in terms of legal immigrants that come here, move to the United States, like they're learning English, right? Like it
Yeah.
should be a part of the naturalization process. Especially in what? In England? In England? If you don't speak
Here's-
English, come on now.
I don't know if we've gotten to this part. I don't know if we've gotten here yet, but has he started talking about if you're able to work?
Not yet. That's towards the end.
Not yet,
I think
okay,
we can
alright,
watch a little
yeah.
bit more.
Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go,
It
then
just
millions
sounds so
go.
genuine.
We're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of
I think and kind of important to mention something that we skipped over to try to get to the meat of the stuff and the stuff that he actually wants to implement. He talked about how difficult of a change this would be and that it would be hard for a period of time, but that he
Be
believes
painful, I think he said, yeah.
it's necessary to restore the nation.
low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. Of
I can-
low,
Hold on.
we're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work. A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered.
Yeah, this part right
Protecting
here.
those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men and women.
That's so true, and I think like this could definitely be used in the United States as well. How many
100%.
people do we have?
We talked about this when
use
the
it?
whole SNAP benefits thing was going on.
Yep. The numbers are insane. It's like, why do you have? And the sentiment here is that the people who physically are unable to work, they should be supported. You know, we're okay with providing them with social benefits. But if you're capable and you're just choosing not to and leech off the system, like, not gonna happen.
Yeah, he goes more into it.
If you can work, you must work. It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits. We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labor shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people. Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture. We must crush parasitic Britain. We will restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people.
Do you think that? You think that's a dig? Hold on, Pod. Do you think the it's more than just numbers on a spreadsheet? You think that's a dig at our administration at our current government?
Probably. I mean, that's kind of how they see it, right? Like, I don't
But that's
know.
how it's presented to us.
Yeah. Like the way that the
Like, oh,
parties look at
the
it now
Dow.
is like, oh yeah, the Dow, like it's so American. The Dow's up, or you have like half and half
A 400%
Democrat
increase
Republican.
in prosecutions for people. What did he say? Whatever that Cash Patel statistic was.
Yeah, increased prosecute 490% increase
And then
in what child crimes, preying on children. And
yeah, and
families
then
or something.
my favorite statistic of all, the over 100% decrease in prices of things. The 2 and 300% decreases of the
Yeah.
cost of a dozen of eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're paying you to
Oh, they're paying me to buy
go
eggs?
buy a carton. Yeah, yeah.
It's news to me.
Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea.
That's a
Britain
dig at the
is not
US.
just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness. In short, a high-trust society. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. A Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful, but I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party. It is our country, it is now our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
You know what I want? I want the opinion of someone who disagrees with this to tell me what's wrong about it.
Well, the claims I've seen is like, oh, this guy's a racist, he's a Nazi, he wants the country to, be a certain way, be a certain demographic.
But
he had another speech, like a 25-minute speech that he gave to a crowd, not like just a video, and he was outlining some of the similar things, and he was saying that he's going to ban Sharia courts. So like they have Sharia courts in Britain that rule in cases based on Sharia law. Like, this is Britain.
But my thought is, if I went to the majority of foreign countries and I tried to force my culture onto, let me say this again. We have one of the most diverse countries in the world. If not, is it the most diverse?
I'd say it's probably the most diverse.
Okay, and the reason we're that diverse is because every other country has a culture, and I would argue that they want to keep their country, the culture of their people. They don't allow assimilation of other cultures. Hold on, I want to show you.
My thought process here is that it's their country. If the people vote for what this guy is saying and vote for this kind of change, then it's their country. They can do whatever they want. Within reason, of course. Like, you can't just go slaughtering people, right?
Let me I'm gonna toss a link in.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting wanting your country to remain its own sort of culture. Like the culture of British culture is just going to be completely wiped away in like 10 years if nothing changes.
I just tossed a link in Discord. I don't know if you've seen this, but just play it. It's a comedian who made this like short.
Okay, I think we can all agree.
I guess it made it onto some news stations, but
Oh, why is this not? Hold on.
Okay, I think we can all agree everything here is a little bit too Chinese.
I
All
saw
the
it today.
restaurants and cafes and that, for a start, way too many noodles. I don't eat noodles. You know, we're going to
Are you
need
sharing
pie
it?
and mash, ham, egg and chips. I mean, you need to
Oh, I'm not
cater to
sharing it.
me, yeah?
Sorry,
No?
sorry.
I don't think you understand. I'm not from here, okay? I left the UK because I didn't like it, all right? So I need you to change everything to make it feel like it's the UK, yeah? Still no, is it? Right, okay. Well, also, I can't really work at the minute. Anxiety, yeah. So when do I get my money? Obviously, got a few kids at home and all, so they're going to need to come here. That's a no-brainer. Why do you keep saying no? I've noticed as well, there's a lot of Chinese people here as well, isn't it? So I was thinking we could get loads of me over here and we have our own little area and then you lot can just fuck off. Does that sound good? It doesn't. Well, no, hear me out, because I was thinking if we get loads of me over here, then we can vote in, you know, one of me to be in charge, and then we can all start telling you lot how to live. And after that, I was going to organise some marches where we go through the streets chanting anti-Chinese sentiments. So obviously you'll need to protect us while we do that. That's a no as well, is it? Oh. And finally, I am here illegally. Yeah, didn't respect the rules on that one. So do I just choose any hotel, or have you got certain prison? Okay, I think we can all agree everything.
Oh gosh.
like, doesn't that sound completely and utterly outrageous?
Yeah, that's quite ironic, I would say. So ironic. It's like I had a thought. I kind of lost it, but what was my
Do you think
thought?
part of the reason that
Why?
sentiments like that aren't acceptable is because I'm going to say we, but the generations have grown up and been taught throughout school how diverse and accepting we are, and now it's even worse for like the elementary school, middle school, high school kids nowadays are. I can't even imagine what curriculum is like now, and it's only been what 10 years, something like that.
I mean, I think we learned
And
so
so
much in school about colonization and how terrible it is, right? But it's not really colonization when slowly over time, a different sort of demographic and different, I don't know, group of cultures come over, completely erase the culture that has been there for generations, and basically make the country exactly like it was, make the country exactly like the country that they left, right? Why leave, you know? So why are you leaving Afghanistan,
leave
going to
and then-
Britain, and then making your communities exactly like what you left?
And then on top of that, it's didn't you leave for like didn't you leave for a reason? Didn't you leave because I'll use the US as an example, because you like the freedoms of the US, you like the opportunity. Well, that's not free. That comes at a price.
Yeah. Yeah, our
And that price
taxpayer
being
dollars.
the price being our taxpayer dollars, but also partially assimilating to our culture.
Mm. That's the thing, right? And this is something I argue about with people a lot about U.S. culture. What is the culture of the United States? And it's like, well, the United States doesn't really have any cultures. It's a melting pot. I was like, okay, that was written that whole premise of the U.S. being a melting pot was written by a playwright in the early 20th century. Everybody just takes that as complete fact for the rest of the United States existence. Like, that's not true. The United States was founded as a Christian nation of Europeans. Before that, it was not a nation. Okay, you could say, "Oh, stolen land, blah blah blah," whatever. I think with the Trail of Tears and all the stuff that the U.S. government has done to the Native Americans is wrong. I'm not going to deny that fact, but this was not a country before the Europeans came here and made it one.
And I would argue that a good part of our culture is the Bill of Rights, and something that separates us from a lot of other countries is freedom of speech, right to bear arms,
Mm-hmm.
freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Like I think that's part of our culture is there is no. This is gonna sound stupid, but there's no defined culture in a sense.
Yeah. But don't you see?
But that also means you don't get to overpower that with whatever culture you want. Does that make I don't know if that makes sense, but
I do understand where you're coming from, and I think this is kind of where we're at now, right? But can you see at all how that creates an issue, right? There's no culture in the United States, so or at least that's the claim. So any foreign group can come over and basically just continue to expand their community, which is very similar to the communities that they lived in their foreign nation. And slowly, members of that community start getting into political office, start changing policy to reflect policy from the nation they came. Say, oh, well, the United States is a melting pot, blah, blah, blah. That whole idea led to where we are now. This nation was
Sure.
founded on the basis of Christianity, morality, and I would say a detachment from European society with slightly more freedoms. I don't think we're not India, we're not the Middle East, we're not China, we're not South America, right? We have a distinct cultural identity that's not like those foreign nations.
I think that's a much better way to put it.
I don't think you can you can't. I think it's hard for me to accept the argument that America has no culture like before when America didn't have a national language. It's like, okay, so do you think if you had, I don't know, however many people needed to come here from South America to change the national language to make the majority of the country Spanish speaking, is that still America? Or does that become the country that you imported? How many people that live here today have
Maybe our
have
culture
lineage
is
to people who came here originally or during like the Ellis Island period of immigration, right? Or even slavery, right? I would think that people who came here during the times of slavery, when it was legal in the United States as a country, I think that they have inherent roots that are tied to the founding of the country, even more so than people that are coming from South America, right? Like, it's not like I'm making an argument strictly based on race.
Listen, man, our culture is rednecks, cheap beer, and Freebird. That's our culture.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like it's hard for me to reconcile with that sort of like how do you argue this with people that say that the United States has no culture? Like, okay, so we're just nothing. We should just dissolve as a country. Culture is the entire point of having a nation divided from another nation. Like, if we have no culture, just merge with somebody else.
Would you say religion is the basis of most people's cultures?
Yeah, and it's the basis of most people's laws as well.
Yeah.
It's
So I think
it is so obvious to me that the founding documents of this nation and the Constitution are founded on Christian morality. That's why we have the freedoms that we have. It's all based on the
God is mentioned in the Constitution.
Yeah, all
few
men
times.
are in the Declaration of Independence as well. All men are created equal. And I don't exactly know how the verbiage goes, but I don't know, freedom of speech, freedom of religion is just like a love your neighbor. That's what it is. Like, and it's also lack of judgment, right? Like, thou shalt not judge. Like, who are you to judge? You know, let the others who have sinned cast the first stone, right? And it's hard to. That's what I don't like about this idea of Sharia law coming in. You know, I have like Little Somalia in Minnesota and Minneapolis. It's like these are majority Muslim countries, right? And I'm not going to go on like a Muslim hate train. That's not the point here, right? But it's just kind of to show that these moralities just simply do not align. They never will align, right? And people can make the arguments like of the Bible of women being submissive and whatever. I don't think those are actually like valid arguments that they're making. Like you should actually get in there and read the Bible, but women having to wear burqas in public, not being allowed to drive, not being allowed to get an education. Do you think that those are things that are American? Like, do those represent the values of the United States? I don't think that that should be allowed. I don't think that you should be able to create a community in the United States where women cannot get educations. Sorry.
I think most women would disagree with that.
Exactly. Like, okay, feminists, let's talk about this. Like, you want to import millions and millions of Muslims because you're so inclusive. Okay, when they start saying that you can't get an education past 12 years old and you have to wear a burqa in public, what do you say to that? Like, there comes a point when assimilation into a nation is necessary for a cohesive nation. When your entire moral philosophy is based on the teachings of your religion, how can you say that you're going to follow the laws of the nation that you live in when they're completely based on a different religion that is actually moral? It's just not possible. We see it over and over. I mean, you see it in Britain, in the United States even, sex crimes going through the roof.
Yeah, man, go walk the streets of North Korea with an American flag and you're in.
Yeah. But
that's an extreme.
That's my rant.
Most places. Iran.
Yeah. I think
Afghanistan.
Iran's actually
maybe.
Well, like, I mean, I guess it used to be Persia. It is different. Like, I think they're, what are they, Sunnis? I don't think that people in like Tehran have to wear. I don't think women have to wear burqas in public. I think they're more liberal than that. But like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. I think Syria might be a little. They have Christian communities as well, but like they're. I don't know. I just don't think that it's hard to create a cohesive nation with two completely detached moral philosophies. Basically, that's my whole synopsis of what I just said.
Yeah, with two, and then mix in like 5 or 6 others.
Yeah. I don't know. That's I don't know, that's what I think. And it's a harsh thought to have, right? Like, I don't want to just specifically exclude anyone, right? But when one country's laws are based off of something,
that's not the point we're trying to make. It's not saying you can't have your own culture. I think the point is when it starts overclouding the culture of the U.S. is when it becomes an issue. Like when our country starts looking more like another country than it does our own.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess it all goes back to this question I have every time, which is, why leave those countries that have the same thought process as you, that are of the moral standing that of yourself, have laws that you would like. You know, like, why go to a more free place like the United States and try to change everything to how it was in the place that you left? Like, to me, it just seems like a demographically conquering. Like, the long-term goal is to culturally conquer other places, right? Like, it's not the goal of the nation, right, or the state. It's the goal of like that religious group, right? I guess it's like with Christian missionaries, right? Christian missionaries going to third world countries to spread the gospel. Like, their goal is to make more people believers. Okay, but the difference is, and maybe I have a biased opinion on Christianity, that it's actually good for the planet. It's actually good for everybody. You know, it's
built on morality.
Yeah, it's built on morality and good versus evil, and knowing what is good and knowing what is evil. And it's not saying that women can't learn and can't drive cars and have to, you know, dress like this in public. Like there is guidance within the Bible and recommendations on how to dress in public, right? And to be modest. It's not saying, oh, you have to wear a burqa and only show your eyes, and that men have complete and total power over you. Right? That's not what it says, actually. I don't know. It's maybe I'm going a little crazy, but I don't think I am. I think my sentiment's right. I think I have a somewhat of a good grasp on what's good and what's not good.
Good versus evil.
Like I don't think this country should necessarily be like a nationalist Christian country where all the political leaders have to be Christian, right? But I would prefer that the country be majority Christian because that would lead to a more cohesive society. People are on a similar wavelength in morality and know that you shouldn't murder people and that you shouldn't hate others. You should love your neighbor. Like, call me crazy. Is that a crazy thing?
No, I don't think so. It'll be spun by someone to sound crazy.
Yeah. Are we popular enough to get clipped yet? I don't know if I want to be
hope
that
not.
popular. People just posting clips.
I was gonna say, I hope not.
I mean, realistically, if we wanted to get more popular, we'd be doing that ourselves. But just get the natural growth stream of just posting once a week. I post on Twitter a
Clip
lot,
farming.
actually. So if anybody's interested in seeing what I post on Twitter, what is it, my OPTN_L on X? I repost a lot. I post every now and then. A lot of just good info, updates, like any sort of military conflicts that are going on. I post about. So, well, we've gone about an hour. I don't know. Do you got any more?
Yeah.
You have any more topics? You
I don't know. Did we hit everything?
Oh, so this is what we didn't talk about. Trump's putting together a campaign to figure out how to win the midterms, or at least attempt to try and figure out how to win the midterms.
Yeah, good luck.
And it's spearheaded by Susie Wiles. I think I may have misspoken that. I think Susie Wiles is his chief of staff, not Stephen Miller. I don't exactly know what Stephen Miller's role is. I'm just gonna look this up. Actually, let me become informed live. Yeah, White House chief of staff is Susie Wiles. Oh, Stephen Miller's the Homeland Security advisor. So, who is it before him? Mike Waltz, right? I think it was Mike Waltz. Not related to Tim Waltz. So, yeah, well, I don't know if I'll post this story, but yeah, I'll do it. Politico. Trump's cabinet huddles on midterm messaging. Most of President Trump's cabinet is currently meeting at the Capitol Hill Club with Chief of Staff Susie Wiles for a closed-door strategy session focused on how to sell Trump's agenda and sharpen GOP's midterm message. Trump will not attend. So this is her running the show to try and figure out how he can win, or how the GOP can win.
Now, at what point? Two questions for you. Do you think he's gonna win? And then follow-up is, at what point do you think he blew it?
I mean, if we're going completely off of the poly market odds of Republicans losing the House, I think it's like 83% right now that the Democrats will win. You know, I'm not gonna go solely off of some betting apps odds, but I think that's
You gotta look at the call sheet stats.
the call sheet stats. Yeah. I think there's more likelihood that the Republicans will still retain the Senate, but not the House. I think they're pretty likely to lose the House. Where did I think that he lost it? Like I said, I don't think that he can win the House. Maybe keep the Senate, but I think the Epstein files are like, I mean, we keep saying that we're not going to talk about it, but it keeps going back and back to this, right? Like what a critical failure. A critical failure. It's really hard to say. Like, I don't think we really understand in the context of what it means of the government covering this up on purpose. You know, maybe it sounds like I'm being harsh on Cash and harsh on Pam Bondi and harsh on Trump, but somebody has to be. You elected these people to do something that they told you that they would do. Kash Patel went on Joe Rogan's podcast and said, I've seen all the evidence. He didn't kill himself. And we definitely don't know that that's true. You said you've seen the video. We saw the video too. And we saw that the Department of Justice cut a minute out of that video. And then, and then sent it to the public and said, "Oh, here you go." It took people 5 seconds to realize that there's a cut.
In 15 minutes on Photoshop, you could have made that seamless. You could have fixed that timestamp.
It just shows how sloppy.
It's like they wanted the public to find out.
Okay, and I have a well. What's your second question? You had a second question.
My follow up was, where do you think he lost it?
Okay. So I have a question for you. Do you think that there should be any repercussions for, say, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, for their handling of the situation?
Legal repercussions or like...
Either
or
legal repercussions or just, like, removal
losing
of
their position?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely 100% removal of their position. And then... I mean, legal. I almost want to say yes. Like that. I get part of their position is saving face and saving the public's view of the government, but also, I mean, it's like if a citizen did something like this, like that's, I mean, it's borderline harboring a fugitive.
Yeah. You go into prison for the rest of your life if you're a normal citizen.
Right.
If you don't have half of Congress on their knees in front of you saying, "Oh, we love you. You're doing such a great job. Like, go MAGA. Like, Epstein's a hoax." If we didn't have half of Congress saying that, with a select few not doing it, maybe probably even more than half, like, we wouldn't be in this situation.
I will say on the like the Pam Bondi side of things, I know we watched that clip last week where she released the names of a bunch of victims that she wasn't supposed to release.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that to me, criminal charges.
Yeah, I have a bold opinion on this, and I think Pam Bondi and Kash Patel should be in prison. And I think the important disclaimer here is that I believe that they have seen things that implicate people of crimes, and that their active reluctance to release that information to Congress is conspiracy to cover up for sex trafficking. And it's plain and simple.
100%.
Pam Bondi said to a reporter of Project Veritas, I believe, in a private interview, honestly, I'm going to pull that up if I can find it, that there's thousands of hours of videos of kids. I'm going to try and pull that up here. Because I think that context is so important. Sorry for my loud keyboard.
I can't even hear it.
Pam Bondi.
Okay. Oh, if you can't hear it, that's good, right? Watch this. Okay?
Bondi comes out and she confirms that the FBI has tens of thousands of Epstein videos with kids doing God knows what. Is this the clip right here, Robbie? Can we play this one?
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that.
No, not one victim will ever be released, okay? And you got caught in front of Congress releasing the names of victims and redacting the names of FBI-confirmed co-conspirators. That is a crime, and you should be in prison. I don't care what side you're on, okay? If you do anything to protect the co-conspirators of people who traffic children, you belong in prison.
Agree, 100%.
Like this is not a left versus right issue.
This is a good versus evil.
Literally, what is more evil than the things that have been done to these children by the people who've done them? Riddle me that. Sorry. So she's admitting it. This, and like I said private interview because there's there's a private interview of her saying this. This is not even a private interview. This is to the press corps, and she's saying this stuff.
I think she got yelled at for saying that.
She probably got a little bit of a scolding. It's like, ooh, you shouldn't have said that. I kind of want to continue playing this. See what else she'll say.
I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Pam Bondi.
That's just insane, man. Like, I voted for Trump. You know, I thought that Pam Bondi would be a good pick. And I think it's like, it's not even swallowing my pride. I think it's just me maintaining a firm moral stance that I think that anything involving children that you're trying to cover up as the government, like, you deserve to rot in hell for all I care. And that's that. I think this administration is completely sold out to what the voters actually wanted. I mean, I think think about the
victims and the families. What if this was someone? What if this is someone in your family?
I think that's what people.
Or what if this
kind
is
of forget?
Unfortunately, what if this was you?
Yeah, I think it's so detached from many people that they're just like, oh, like whatever, like they're saying covered, like there's nothing else in here, like I'll just believe them. Like, it's how many times have they lied to you? They told you it was a hoax. They dropped 3.5 million files. And even in those files that they chose to release, there's a bunch of messed up stuff in there.
So think about what isn't released yet.
Yeah, and Pam Bondi said that they're done. They're not releasing anymore. So we're just going to forget about it. We're going to go to war with Iran and completely move on from this entire thing.
But hey, the Dow is up. So
the Dow is at 50,000, or at least it was.
Dow's at 50,000. We're good.
I think it went down a little, but
so all is well.
Gosh, this is
all right. You want to?
Yeah, you ready to? I'm ready to.
You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, getting towards the end here of our allotted time. So,
all right, positive episode coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, we're sure of it. It'll happen.
It will.
Not sure
someday.
When, but all right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed.
Yep.